Hey, welcome back. So, this episode of I'd Like to Unsubscribe comes with a special offer. It's complimentary dark circles under your eyes, courtesy
Mm.
of another restless night. But don't worry, y'all. Me and Marissa, we got you. So, here's the deal there is a difference between having a rough night of sleep and then battling full on insomnia. A bad night can happen to anyone. Okay. But insomnia, though, it's like being trapped in a bad relationship with your pillow. You are constantly together, but somehow it never gives you what you need. It's probably a narcissist. So, yeah. If you
Definitely.
live with autoimmune disease, thyroid problems, or chronic illness of any kind, that relationship with sleep gets so messy, right? So tonight, if you're listening, listen to us tonight too. We're unpacking why sleep is so hard, what makes it especially complicated for people with autoimmunity, and what the science says about sleep and sickness, and how honestly grace and faith can help when your body and your mind refuse to
Mm.
rest. We'll also share some natural remedies, some spiritual practices, and even some affirmations you can take with you to bed. Because if you're going to be awake at 2 a.m., we might as well talk about it together.
What if the life you planned vanished overnight? For Marissa and Britt, it was painful chronic conditions without cures. We lost everything: our health, independence, careers, and even our sense of self. But in the wreckage, we found something unexpected: a chance to rebuild. Welcome to I'd Like to Unsubscribe, the podcast for anyone feeling stuck, lost, traumatized, or just straight up over it. This isn't about surviving illness or trauma. It's about ditching the toxic beliefs holding you back and even daring to dream again. We're bringing real talk, hard-earned wisdom, lots of sarcasm, and practical tools to help you rise. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll remember, even in the darkest moments, hope is still alive.
Are you experiencing symptoms of lupus or feeling alone on this journey? The Lupus Foundation of New England is here to help you. They're dedicated to supporting those living with lupus, offering education, resources, and a community to help you navigate the journey. From learning about symptoms and testing to upcoming events and research, the Lupus Foundation of New England has you covered. Visit lupusne.org and connect with others who truly understand. You don't have to do this alone. Visit lupusne.org, that's lupusne.org today. Hey, welcome back to I Like to Unsubscribe, and good night. Or at least we hope you do have a good one. We are chatting about sleeplessness and insomnia here, and if you're wondering, what's that? Ugh, just get out. Just leave. Please leave the chat right now. And also, please tell me all of the supplements that you are taking because I need this right now.
Clearly, yes. Oh, and that special complimentary offer that you were offering earlier in the intro, Britt, that is really a buy one, get one free
Yeah.
of the dark
Yeah.
circles on your eyes. Mhm.
It's a twofer.
It is. So, well, there is a really big difference, right? Between, oh, I'm just having some trouble sleeping and insomnia. And we have to sort of name what that difference is, right? So I feel like trouble sleeping is that occasional, ooh, I had coffee too late. I can't shut my brain down. It was a really busy, like stressful day. I mean, honestly, even some people, they work out too close to bedtime, right? They're restless.
Yeah.
They can't sleep well. But it's inconvenient, okay? We can all admit to that. But it typically passes.
Yeah. And insomnia is just so different from that, and I know we throw around a lot of these phrases, around, but insomnia is just clinically different. It's when you struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep at least 3 nights a week for at least 3 months or more. It messes with your daytime life. It's starting to mess with your focus. It's messing with your energy, and it's certainly messing with your mood.
100%. Well, and insomnia isn't just we feel tired, right? Like you mentioned, it actually changes how your body functions because sleep is reparative, right? So if we're not getting
Yeah.
it, things are going to happen. So your hormones, your immune system, your brain chemistry, all of it is impacted when you're not sleeping. And it's a cycle that feeds itself. And I think we've all experienced this. The
Yeah.
more that we're worrying about not being able to sleep, typically, the less we are
Hmm.
actually able to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving, right?
Truly.
It feels like a hopeless cycle. Like suddenly bedtime is no longer comforting to you. It's not like, oh, okay, can't wait to be done with this day. Now it just feels like the night just keeps adding on to itself. It feels like another test we're gonna definitely fail. Which then brings us to the big question, well, why is it so hard to fall asleep in the first place? Like, what is it really? And, it's multifaceted. Modern life is just, especially in America, so stacked against sleep.
Mhm.
I mean, just think about it. We live in this world where our bodies are wired literally to sleep when it's dark. Okay. But we stay up late at night, most of us, staring at a glowing screen, whether that's your phone, whether that's a TV, adding caffeine, I mean, most of us aren't just having caffeine in the morning, so that's it. Late night snacks that we're eating, our irregular schedules. If your kid plays any sports at night, I mean, it's just
Mm.
kind of all over the place. Then add in the hustle mentality, which we hate, but it's there, and stress, just life. And it's really any wonder we get any rest at all.
Right. And so we have all the external stuff, right? And then we also have that inner noise,
Yeah.
whether you struggle with anxiety, racing thoughts, maybe you replay conversations. I'm guilty of that for sure.
What?
Or
No.
replaying, yeah, what your response should have been. That's another
Yeah.
one. Worrying about just the people in our life, our health. It's like our brains hit the gas, but our body is actually trying to hit the brake.
Yeah. Josh and I call those like shower conversations where you're like, oh, yeah. This is what I'll say. Oh, this is what I should have said. And you're just like playing it back and forth. It's a fun
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's especially fun at 2 a.m. And y'all, our culture does not help us at all. We glorify being busy. I mean, it's like if someone was just like, how are you doing? You're like, it's been real chill lately. We're just like, what? Like, you're not doing a lot more. Like, we glorify. We're just like, this is a badge of honor. We pull late nights. We run on caffeine. There is a Starbucks or a Dunkin's or whatever coffee shop of your flavor on every corner, right? It's like somehow needing 8 hours or more of sleep is just like a proof of your weakness and that you're not the survival of the fittest. Like if somehow we bump biology, sleep becomes optional to us until suddenly your body reminds you that you're a human and it's actually not optional at all.
Exactly. So, listen, sleep isn't just rest. We need it to survive, obviously. I mean, sleep deprivation is a means of torture for a reason, right?
Yes.
And sleep, it's just losing it hits so hard for, I think, anyone. But when you're dealing with a chronic illness on top of it, it is like a double whammy.
Yes. And we got to talk about autoimmune disease and sleep. Because if you live with lupus, thyroid conditions like Hashimoto's, which was my, first diagnosis, rheumatoid arthritis, any chronic inflammatory condition at all, sleep is usually harder to come by. And that's not just because we're being drama queens about it, but like it's just biology part of it, right? And the exact remedy you need to keep going is sleep to help with the autoimmune or whatever you're dealing with. And yet it's the hardest thing. It's a real fun battle.
Yeah. I mean, and listen, it can be for a lot of different reasons that we experience insomnia and just sleep disturbances. Pain, I know, just pain alone can keep
Yes.
you awake, no matter how exhausted you are. I think if we, then add in things like our side effects from our medications, we're having inflammation, which, is usually tied in with pain. Maybe you're dealing right now with hormone imbalances, and you all of a sudden find that sleep becomes one of your largest battles. And personally, I
Yes.
know one night of rough sleep, the next day can be very challenging for me. But 2 or 3 in a row can literally incapacitate me and put me into a full-on lupus flare.
Yeah. Do you want to see Marissa and Britt in full psycho mode?
Mm-hmm.
2 nights of bad sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
It's pretty ugly. I don't even want to be around myself, okay?
Oh gosh. I'm loco. And I mean the thyroid, sweet peas. Let's just camp here for a minute, okay? The shout out to all you people out there dealing with thyroid disorders. This one is rough because that little butterfly shaped gland that used to be in my throat, it controls your metabolism. It controls your energy, your body temperature. And yes, here we are, sleep quality. It controls that. It's super fun. If it's overreactive, you're going to feel that restlessness, that jitteriness, that wiredness at night. And when it's underactive, it's not like, okay, I'll just get great sleep then. No, you feel exhausted all day, but you still don't get restorative sleep. What a gem. What a gem.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what's so cruel about it. It's like poor sleep fuels more flares, right? Lack of sleep, it all ties in, right? It can lead to our inflammation increasing. It clearly makes our symptoms feel like they're worse. Maybe the severity goes up. All of the things that actually make that next night of sleep even more difficult. So we're living in this vicious cycle at this time.
Yeah.
And science actually backs up really just how damaging that cycle of losing sleep can be, especially when you're living with a chronic illness. There's a lot of research out there that points to that even one night of just getting 4 hours of sleep can reduce your immune system's natural killer cells, which we all need, by up to 70%, right? So those are our cells that fight off infections and just abnormal things that our body is seeing. Like, we need all of this. Like, the last thing we want to add on to lack of sleep now is catching any virus or cold that we then come into contact with, right? So just for our immunity, it is crucial.
That's a killer stat. I mean, that's crazy because your body does so much major repair work while you sleep. So it's your muscle recovery, right? It's your cell regeneration, your hormone regulation. It's even cleaning out all the toxins from your body and brain. So, I mean, just think about that. Like, when you're not sleeping, it's not just like, we're not worried about being tired. Like, we're always tired. Like, I'm not worried about that. It's not that. It's that, like, I'm physically less equipped to heal and protect myself.
Absolutely. And when you're living with an autoimmune disease, like, that is just huge. Like, so your body's already working overtime on a regular basis, even when you are sleeping well or decent, to just manage inflammation, right? And so now we're losing sleep. It makes this entire system even more unstable, not to mention then it's lowering even more immunity. And, I catch colds like, just basically as I'm breathing in air. I feel like it's just like, oh, here we go.
Here we are. I mean, there's no wonder that we feel 10 times worse after a bad night of sleep, because the odds have already been stacked against us. And it's not just fatigue, right? It's our bodies are literally crying out for help. Like, we're already in this deficit and now we're in even more. And then there's the mental side, because insomnia feeds itself, right? So the more you think, okay, I've got to sleep, or I'm going to be like useless tomorrow, I've got to sleep. Like, you're not going to actually get more sleep because you're going to build that anxiety and you're going to get less sleep.
Well, yeah. And this is why grace is key, right? Your body was designed to sleep. Even if it feels impossible, you can remind yourself that your body has not forgotten. Like, it actually does know how to rest. But I think sometimes it needs the space and that gentleness to just kind of remind itself, like, okay, I'm safe. I can actually shut down and sleep right now. And so we're going to go into that a little bit.
Yes. I mean, that's the key. Grace interrupts the spiral. Instead of punishing yourself, you can say, okay, all right, tonight was hard, but it doesn't mean tomorrow has to be completely written off, right? Like, that's a grace-filled statement to your, 2, 3 a.m. self, right? That shift really just starts to take that pressure off of performance. And I know most of us struggle with that feeling. Like, we're performers, we're survivors. And so, like, oh, it's already going to be hard and now it's going to be so much harder. When we shift to grace mentality, we are going to just spiral. Like, when we start to condemn the next day because we're struggling to sleep, or we're getting frustrated with ourselves for not being able to do better, that condemnation's rising up in us, we are going to feel all these body sensations, and we start the shame spiral. And that lack of grace is like, I've never been like, what is wrong with you? And then I fell asleep.
Okay, I'm just going to go to bed then.
Yep. And then I fell asleep because I gave myself a good stern talking to, and then, slipped it off to La La Land. No, it's the learning to speak gently to your soul is what will finally get you to relax and rest, and then you go to sleep. So when we talk to ourselves, however you want to call it, learn how to parent your inner child, if that's the way, it's like putting your hand on your chest and saying, of course you're having a hard time relaxing. You were in pain all day long, and that made you really scared. Like, of course you're spiraling. You were just told again that everything looks normal in your blood work, but you know something's off in your body. Like, of course, you will find the answer, but not tonight. So we can let it go. Like, of course you can't relax. Your body is jerking you awake. And that's news you got earlier today that was devastating. And your body is wondering if you're safe. Like, of course, it's about speaking to the heart of your need and giving the words of compassion that your soul needs to be able to jump into that gray zone.
Yeah. And that's something I've honestly had to really learn over time and really ingrain this into my brain, because like you were talking about earlier, in the past, I would get so irritated that my body just wouldn't shut off when clearly it was like overexhausted, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really try to prioritize sleep at this point in my life. Because for me, just, when I've had a few bad nights, I am going to pull out all the stops. And that, is determining, is it pain? Is it stomach issues or my nerves? Those are my major culprits usually.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of just going through this routine, and everyone's routine is different. You have to do, what makes sense for your life. But for me, it's shutting my phone on Do Not Disturb and putting it away in my purse or in another room, right? Taking the extra energy, even though I'm exhausted, and putting myself into a warm bath. For me, I know that, some people aren't a fan, but it's taking things like melatonin and magnesium and sleep gummies. Yeah. Brittany knows I do not mess around when it comes to knocking myself
out. Girl, don't mess. Don't mess.
Wait, you took all those at one time? Yeah. So no, I'm not telling you. Like, I know what works for me and will finally put my body. But it isn't just all of that. It's also telling my body, like, hey, this is your time. This is the quiet time of the world. And we are going to get the rest that we need tonight, right? It's almost like that little, like, soft, gentle pep talk. Because when it comes to, me taking care of my mom, working, running a nonprofit, like, I can't really miss a day or two. So, in top of those things that I was just talking about, and different supplements or whatnot, or routines, for me, I also love to read, especially at night. It makes me drowsy. There are some beautiful, like, healing frequencies that you can listen to on YouTube. And, I do that. They're very, some of them are specific to sleep, specific to regenerating, healing. And while I'm listening to that, I will speak, like, just life and peace over myself. And again, reminding myself that I'm safe to rest, that you have nothing to worry about right now. All of the dilemmas of the day, like, there's nothing that you can solve in that moment that can't wait until tomorrow. Like, this is your quiet time, so let's recover. So I say all of that to share, like, it's not sometimes just one thing. It can be a variety of things. And usually, like, all of those help create that environment where I can finally rest. And, Britt and I have been at this a long time. The only reason that we are aware at this point of what is working for us is because we have tried so much, and we have journaled, and we have looked at and recognized what works. So, like, that's what we always call, like, that's in our toolbox now, right? Sometimes you just have to pull out all of those stops.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta figure it out, and trust me, life will teach you that lesson on how to figure it out. I had never really experienced insomnia before. Sleepless nights here and there, fine. But, full on insomnia had never really been a part of my toolbox. So I had been using, pharma GABA for a really long time. And I used it every single day, not realizing that you should come off of it when you don't need it. But I was so worried about not sleeping. I just used it constantly to the point where it became ineffective. And I had nothing else in my toolbox. So I went through this really, like, 4 weeks where, I'm not kidding you, I got flu A, followed by flu B, and COVID in 4 weeks.
And no sleep. I remember this. This was a nightmare.
It was so awful. So on the tail end of that, of course, my thyroid levels and my medications go, like, plummet, okay? And I'm not able to sleep anymore. Now I don't have any tools in my toolbox because all I ever had was this medication or using melatonin to help me sleep. And so I had to go into sleep therapy. Simultaneously, one of my family members, who is the closest to me, had a severe health crisis. And I'm wondering, is their life going to change? Are they going to be okay? Are they going to survive this? Or am I going to have to move? I mean, it was like my world was spinning upside down. And I went through about 3.5 months of such severe insomnia that when I even think back on those times, y'all, it is still so traumatizing to me. I mean, like, who needs to go to Halloween Horror Nights when I can just think about that season of insomnia and be way more terrified? Like, that's how it was. I mean, I was in this place where it was beyond survival, and I was just trying to live, and I was getting maybe 4 hours of sleep at night, and my whole system was shutting down. I mean, it was a really significantly challenging time. And so now when I experience sleepless nights, y'all get it. Like, it is so traumatizing to me. So now I'm back into this season where my doctor wants me to take this medication to lower my histamine levels. But unfortunately for me, because I'm sensitive to everything, it is revving my system up. So it gives me like some good energy sometimes. But mostly if I'm taking it at a therapeutic level, I really can't sleep at night. So now I'm having to deal with the trauma of the memories, right? And try to figure out, okay, what is something that's sustainable for me to take in order to be able to sustain treatment. And y'all, it has been rough. It has been rough and super traumatizing because I'm there again, back in that season trying to prevent that. I've done so much work, so much therapy to not go back there. But there are times in our journeys where we are faced with really hard decisions, which is in order to get to the next level of healing, which is trying to heal my multiple system autoimmunity. I really have to take down my histamine levels to be able to sustain the treatment to heal this. Then I may get this side effect. And that can feel cruel, right? That it's like I'm lifting up this Pandora's box now because I'm trying to help here, but now it's affecting here and I'm getting this side effect and it's not fair. And you're right, it's not freaking fair. And it is really okay to grieve that. And I think that's really important to understand. Like, we talk about it often, but there's never a point where all of a sudden you're just like, I'm totally fine. This is fine. I won't be upset about this anymore. It will lessen over time. I promise you. Like, it will truly lessen for you. There are so many times where I'm like, I see a lot of benefit. And I know that sounds crazy to being where I am and the grace and the person that it, has kind of forced me into being. And I love this new version of me. But y'all, last night, my little girl laid in bed and we were having the sweetest moment between the two of us. And she looked at me and she was like, Mommy, know how you're sick all the time? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to love this conversation. Do you know how you're sick all the time? And then you have to take naps and lay down a lot when daddy's home? My husband's a firefighter and he works for 24-hour shifts. So she says, Mommy, like, you're not sick when daddy's not around. Like, why aren't you sick when daddy's gone? And it was heart-wrenching because the answer was so painful for, towards her and for myself, which is, hey, babe, Mommy is still sick, but I can't be sick really when daddy's not around because I've got to take care of you too. Like, we are constantly trying so hard to be well. And if you're in a space right now where you're dealing with side effects, where you're dealing with trauma right now, and you're mad at yourself because sleep is hard to come by and it's affecting you because you're not sleeping, like, I just say to you right now, please just have so much grace and kindness for yourself. You are dealing with so much and it will be okay. Like, I did get through that insomnia season. I didn't think I was going to, right? You will come out the other side. There is something that will help you. I promise you. That is a promise from Jesus and his goodness. But if you're there, it's hard and it's okay. It is okay. And just live into that grace right now and speak that truth and kindness over your soul because it needs it. It does not need shame right now. And just speaking of grace, and all things, we've got a lot to say on this, but we got to take a quick break for this episode. And it is brought to you by our amazing sponsors. And unlike your insomnia, these ads will end and they won't keep you up all night. So see you in a little bit.
Struggling to figure out what's going on with your health? Try Folia, the health app that lets you capture everything you care about so you can get to the bottom of it. Folia helps you spot patterns while building your source of truth. Download Folia Health free in the App Store or on Google Play with invite code LupusCheck. That's Folia Health, the app making personalized healthcare a reality.
Are you experiencing symptoms of lupus or feeling alone on this journey? The Lupus Foundation of New England is here to help you. They're dedicated to supporting those living with lupus, offering education, resources, and a community to help you navigate the journey. From learning about symptoms and testing to upcoming events and research, the Lupus Foundation of New England has you covered. Visit lupusne.org and connect with others who truly understand. You don't have to do this alone. Visit lupusne.org. That's lupusne.org today.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for joining us for the last half of this episode. And so we kind of just want to jump into a question for you. So have you ever been just about to fall asleep and suddenly your entire body jerks like you just stepped off a curb that you didn't even see was there, right? And that quick startling motion, well, if it's ever happened to you, it's actually called a hypnic jerk, right? And it really is a jerk. I mean, let's be honest. Or a sleep start. Yeah. And, it's common. I mean, it happens to all of us at some time. But it can feel like your body is saying, nope, I was just starting to fall asleep, but it's not safe to rest yet. So here we are again.
Yes. It's wild because physiologically, it's totally normal. It's your nervous system. It's just a shift. It's a shifting from wakefulness into sleep. So it's a normal thing. And then it's sometimes your muscle is just misfiring as your brain transitions. That's all it is. It's just like I'm transitioning and I'm going into this, and then it's just this misfire, So don't be scared if this happens to you, and don't always just attribute so much weight to it. But they can be a warning light for you. It's like your check engine, Emotionally, it can be that signal to your body, oh, I'm still on high alert right here. Because when you live in a constant state of stress, trauma, especially pain, your nervous system it hasn't been able to relax for a while. And your body's not in this place where it's trusting that it's safe to let go. Because think about it, like sleep is the most vulnerable thing you do. Yeah. You are literally just boop, like gone. This is the least amount of control you are going to have. So in order for you to be able to kind of let go and literally drift off into that, you got to feel safe.
Yeah. I mean, and especially for people that have like some type of autoimmune or chronic illness, because where the body, like it's always sort of scanning, I feel like, for threats, right? And the nervous system can stay in fight or flight, like even when you're lying perfectly still. So those jerks, it's sort of like your body staying like, wait, are we sure that the coast is clear right now? Are we sure that we can actually rest and that we can actually relax? Because it's been stuck in this sort of like hyper vigilant state for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. And to counteract that, one of the best things that we can do is signal safety before we even get into bed. Right? This is all that it's about, right? It's the S word that we love on the show, right? Safety. That might look like, dimming the lights early, doing slow breathing through your nose. We talked about on the last episode, we can do box breathing, the 4-6-8 breathing, tapping. Have you ever heard of that? You tap on your occipital lobe and your forehead and your chin, and you talk to yourself. You're stimulating these things and you're breathing. Even just placing your hand on your chest and just soothing and rubbing and just saying, I'm safe right now. You are then teaching your body it's okay that you've got it, and it's okay to downshift. We can do this. We're safe.
Right. And I think another good way to look at that, like all of those sort of tools that you were just talking about there. And Britt, you and I talk about this in terms of a lot of different things that just happen with the body, but also it's that sort of breaking that pathway that's on, right? Interrupting it. So like when you're doing the tapping, I'm a big fan of that, right? Your body is then shifting to something else. And at the same time, you're speaking to yourself and speaking over yourself that you are safe right now. So it's like you're interrupting that loop that your body is on. And
Yeah.
if you notice that you experience those hypnic jerks, it's such a strange name to me. Just try to remind yourself, like, it's just your body's way of trying to protect you, right? So if
Yeah.
you respond to that with more compassion instead of frustration, I think, and that's the key, because I think a lot of us are like, oh my gosh, why is my body doing this again? I have to get up in 6
Yeah.
hours. I have to get up in 5 hours, right? And it's just,
Yeah.
it gets worse and worse, right? When we're actually able to speak to ourselves with that compassion instead, which is, I believe, a learned behavior, our nervous system slowly learns that it can relax again, that what we are saying to it is true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's about developing that trust within yourself, because when you're awake at night, it really helps to ask, which it kind of seems counterproductive, because you're like, I'm trying not to think about things so I can go to sleep. But if you're up, you got to deal with it. So it's helpful to ask, like, what is keeping me up? And you got to think in 3 buckets. So your physical and your emotional and your spiritual, right? So physical, okay, is it this? Am I in pain? Is my thyroid levels off? Where's my blood sugar level at? Did I eat today? How much caffeine have I consumed today? What are the meds that I'm taking? Is anything new? Is anything different? Did I change a dose? Am I having some histamine issues right now? You got to think in terms of, okay, what's the physical bucket? Okay, go through that list. Then the emotional. Am I feeling anxiety right now? Has there been some deep loss or some grief or sadness? Has there been a lot of stress? Have I been overthinking a lot? Do I feel like I can't downregulate? Got to go to that. And then spiritual. The fears and the worries and the burdens that I'm not handed over to this, to Jesus or higher power. Like, this is something that we have to address, because it's not by ignoring that we're finally going to be able to go to sleep.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just that naming it actually helps bring your brain some relief, because it's sort of taking away that like mystery stress and gives you a direction to work from. I sort of liken it to when you're dealing with a whole bunch of symptoms and something's wrong, but you haven't officially gotten that diagnosis. Like when a lot of us realize after we had a name to something, I always say it's like a bittersweet moment, but it's like, okay, I finally have an answer. And then you start feeling like you can create a pathway of moving forward, right? But otherwise, you're just sort of spinning in that, what is this from? What's happening? So I love that you sort of put it into like those 3 buckets.
Yeah, you have to name it. Like, right, this says name it to tame it. And once we name it, we can start to feel a little bit more control, because when we feel out of control, there's no safety. There's just those do not equate to each other. So yeah, name it to tame it. One of the most interesting tools that I've found, and it was actually my acupuncturist brought it up to me, because she kept asking, do you wake up at night, and then like what times? And I was like, why are you so obsessed with my sleep? But it makes sense when I finally learned. So if you're waking up at certain times, the Chinese body clock is going to be super, super like valuable tool to you. It's based on traditional Chinese medicine, and it maps out how your body's organs process energy and emotion during 24-hour cycle. Okay, so it's not just at night. It's like, all through the time.
Yeah, and we love this clock. And it's a great way to like just sort of look at it as like your body is sending off certain signals depending on the time. So let's say you're someone, you keep recognizing that you're waking up around like 1 and 3 a.m. In Chinese medicine, like, well, that's the window for your liver. And it can mean that maybe your body is working, like it's overloaded, it's working through toxins. Maybe it has histamine overload. It might even tie to different emotions, such as specific to that time, anger and anxiety.
Yeah. And between like 3 to 5 is lung cycle, and which is often linked to grief. So sadness or breathing issues that you may be having. So if you are a person who has asthma or allergies, and you notice that you're waking up around that time, like something's going on there, check it out.
Yeah. And some of you might wake up a little bit later, like maybe 5 to 7 a.m. And, especially if you don't have to wake up at that time. So you typically sleep later. I'm a later sleeper. But that time frame in Chinese medicine, the body sort of shifts over to then the large intestine. And this can relate to things like letting go, whether it's physically or emotionally. And I think it's fascinating when you can sort of connect those dots between your wake up calls and what your body or even your heart is actually processing and trying to tell you.
Yeah. And just remember, it's not just at nighttime that your body is doing this, because the Chinese body clock goes all day. It's 24 hours. So like around 4 p.m., when grief can surface again, it's like that natural dip of energy. Sometimes our bodies are literally saying, hey, can you pay attention to me? It's, again, like we say, like your body will tell you often before your brain will what's going on.
Yeah. So I think if this is happening to you, right? Like, yes, maybe like our natural inclination is we just sort of, become frustrated. But what Britt and I are trying to get at, while there are a lot of different things you can do for sleep, and we mentioned some of them, like we also are really pushing sort of heavy this, hey, this conversation. What is my body trying to tell me? Is my body processing something? Is this emotional? Is it physical? Right? Is it spiritual? Like, is it maybe two of those? It doesn't have to just be one. But that awareness, I think, turns those sort of little wake up calls into more, look at it as information rather than, oh, I have insomnia again.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, because it reminds us that our bodies they're not against us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, we're not at war with our bodies. They're actually speaking to us. They're trying to tell us a message, right? It's like, hi, nonverbal message over here. And part of learning to sleep again is learning to listen to your body.
Yeah. And this might be like a really weird analogy. It just came into my brain as you and I are talking, Britt, because we love dogs and we've had dogs. We know our dogs have like all of these different types of barking, right?
Yeah.
And to them, I mean, they're relaying a message to us. We just sort of have to learn over time, like which one sounds like what and what they're actually trying to tell us, right? They all have a different tone, different sound, different length. Like our body's doing the same thing. It is speaking to us all of the time. It's just sleep happens to be, or nighttime happens to be one of the times when we're finally still and we don't have the crazy of the day right in our face influencing us at that moment. So I think it's really just an important time to pay close attention, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's our time to finally listen.
Right. I mean, I always tell you, like, God always speaks to me and always gives me things in my dreams and at sleep time, because I think God is very well aware that my brain does not even slow down a bit until I'm actually forced to go to bed at night, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And it also, speaking of God, it's also why I think it's helpful to remember like what God also tells us about rest. And in scripture, in faith that Britt and I believe in, like it does remind us numerous times that sleep is a gift. If we look at Psalms 4:8, it tells us, in peace, I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, you make me dwell in safety. And in Proverbs 3:24, it says, when you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. It reminds both, I think, your mind and your body that you don't have to stay on guard right then in that moment, right? God is.
Yeah.
God's got you in that moment. You can take that rest and recovery because that is what he designed for us.
I mean, what beauty in that, to recognize, because we don't want to go to sleep because we feel like we're losing control, right? We don't feel like we're safe. And that reminder through that there is something higher and better than me that will be watching over the whole night, and I can just let it go. And that is such love there. And I love this practice. I heard about it through John Eldridge, and he, does Wild at Heart. So really, really love him. But he has this practice, which he calls benevolent detachment. And basically the premise is we are not meant to carry all of the stress and the knowledge that we carry, the things that we see on the news and the amount of people that we have connections to and all their trauma and hurt that we hear about. The human soul is weighed down. That's just how we live our lives right now. But what do we do with this weight? And John says, like, we got to do this. Like, it's this benediction he gives. Give it to Jesus. And I know that's like, so like, you've probably heard that if you've been in the Christian circle, just give it to God, let go and let God. Ugh, I don't like it. It's very annoying to me. It's so like, as if I'm trying not to do that. But the premise, like, we have to give our burdens to somebody higher and greater than us so that we know we can let go without guilt and with trust. Like, I'm not going to just hand, like, I'm like, my daughter, a 10-year-old, you handle mommy's issues while she sleeps. Nope, not going to happen, But it's like, we've got to be able to have that relaxation. And I feel like it's like my kids at the end of the day, when I pick them up from school, they both have their backpacks. And I don't know if your kids do this, or maybe they just use me as like their cattle, but my kids instantly hand me their backpacks. Like, oh, I couldn't possibly carry this to the car, Mom. It's been a long day at school and you've got this, like, carry this, Mom. I'm exhausted, and that's what it should be with us, like, as God's kids, where we say, like, Dad, I'm so exhausted by my life. Like, here's my backpack. Can you carry this for me?
Yes.
And so it's like starting this practice of benevolent detachment by saying, I give you everyone and everything. And you may not feel like, right, this is not about necessarily feeling it at the time, but it's just this practice of just, I can't do this, Dad. I can't do this. So I'm going to give you everyone and everything. It's so helpful to even like just picture in your mind's eye, like handing it over to Jesus, whatever that figure of Jesus looks like to you, because we have to release what's not ours to carry. And especially at night, like, especially for the sake of our souls, everything is finally quiet enough for our soul to catch up, like we were saying. And then that's when it all starts happening. All of the thoughts are flying in. So I give you everyone and everything. And then name to him what you're giving him. I'm giving my health to you. I'm giving that diagnosis I just got. I'm giving you the side effects to the medication. I'm giving you my child who feels out of control, or my marriage that feels distance. I'm giving you everything. And even, and especially if you don't feel like you can give up control all the time, at least try at night. Just try, just for the night, to let go into the hands of the divine, who is so much more capable of holding it for you. And y'all, you can always just pick it back up in the morning and start the stress, panic all over again if you want, right? Like, if that's your MO, like, but like, for the night, I'm going to give it to you and see if you can handle it so that I can sleep. It's such a gift that you can give to yourself. And, and then just beyond that, like, that's dealing with the spiritual, but we got to deal, like we said, the triune. So we deal with the spiritual, and then we got to get real about the practical. So there's so many natural supports, and y'all, I'm not sponsored by any of these people. Okay. I have tried so many because that insomnia period about dang near killed me. So when I'm telling you, like, I'm recommending these, this isn't because, I Googled something and this came up. Like, these are my tried and true. I go to magnesium is a first run for me. I find magnesium can really affect my gut. I have a really sensitive tummy, but I'm being real brave about it. So, but I love patches. And if I can use a patch for something, I'm going to do it. So a magnesium patch, you can get them on Amazon. They are wonderful. I cut them because I'm so sensitive to everything, but magnesium patches are going to be so helpful. Microdosing melatonin. I've done this in seasons. I don't try to macrodose it because I want to protect my body's ability to keep producing it, but it's very helpful however you need to take it. Maybe macro works for you, but micro works for me. Taking lemon balm, it's such like a soothing, calming force for me, but I don't feel like I had the hangover from it, so that's really great. L-theanine products. Passion flower is a really sensitive, kind of sedating supplement that you can try. GABA products. Praise Jesus for GABA products. I use Pharma GABA, and then, your traditional like Xanax or temazepam as I need. Like, if I'm in that place, like, there's no shame in that game. Like, you use what you need to. And then, like, Marissa and I, like, one of our like all-time favorites is the Ollie Stress Gummies. You can get them Amazon, Walmart, like wherever, you have a major store. Ollie Stress Gummies, clutch.
Even during the day. Doesn't even have to be just the night. Yeah, those are great.
Heck yeah. Pop one of those. I'll take like a half of them, like, do what you need to, right? Because there is zero shame in needing any of these medications. There's zero shame in it. There is more shame in you just trying to be like, I'm fine. Don't do that to yourself. That's dumb. Be wise. You are smart people who are listening. So there is no shame. And there's especially no shame in needing prescribed sleep medication. Like, right? Say these, I tried all these natural supplements when I was going through my deep insomnia, and it wasn't enough. And I felt like I was failing. And then I tried temazepam, that I got prescribed. And y'all, I slept and it saved my life for a moment there because I was losing it. There's no shame in using it for a period of time during a hard season. That's what it's there for. So use your tools. Like, be smart. Don't try to build a home with your hands when you could have a hammer, you know? So, like, this is what grace looks like. It's not about soldiering through, which we're so prone to do. Grace looks like, what are my tools and how can I have compassion? And that's what medication's for.
Yeah. I mean, and Britt and I have truly tried like all of these things. And we even remind each other at times when we're like, oh my gosh, like we're going into that cycle again or that season. And it can feel really overwhelming because we just had this conversation recently. I just got off of this medicine. I don't want to have to take it again. And it's like, listen, it might just be for a week. It might be for maybe the next month of your life. It's like, this doesn't mean it's your whole life. But again, if it gets you through sleep so that you can recover and your body can rest and you can handle the day-to-day right now, then you need to do what you need to do, right? Because we don't need to have a flare-up and wind up in the hospital for a month. Absolutely not.
Yes,
so
that's it.
I think you have the supplements, you have maybe medication, you have the emotional part of it, you have the speaking over yourself, looking at what time you're waking up. There's so many different, pieces here. And also we can look at the non-supplement supports, like things that Britt and I like. You have things like the Abide app, which if you're more, prone to, you want to go to scripture, it's scripture-based sleep meditations. I also have for years, and I'm not endorsed by them in any way, but a subscription to Headspace, which I love. It's more mental health focused. And there's some great things like for free on YouTube. I listen, like I said, to a lot of the healing frequencies, and I'll just put the headphones in my ears at night, and these things go on like 8 to 10 hour loops. And I will put those in, and those will also help me I'll notice after about 5 minutes, it completely puts my body into another space. And you might listen for 30 seconds, a minute, and be like, oh, I don't really know. This is kind of like woo-woo. Give it 5 minutes. Give it 5 minutes and see if you feel that your body finally came down a few notches and is starting to calm down.
Yeah. It's truly just doing whatever you need to create comfort, to create an environment where your body feels safe enough to rest. And that's going to look different for everybody. Like for me, I don't sleep well in chaotic environments. So even if I haven't made my bed for the day, I which is rare, but if I haven't, I'm going to make my bed before I get into it. I know that sounds crazy, but like my brain needs to know like this was a safe, non-chaotic environment for me to feel like I can relax into it. So, maybe for you, it's like Marissa said, reading a comforting book. Maybe you light a candle that you just keep that's like a comforting scent to you, like a lavender, whatever it is. Weighted blankets are huge. I sleep with one every single night. Cozy sheets. Like if it signals comfort to you, it's a win. It's already a thumbs up.
Yeah. And we all have like our things. And I'm like you, Britt, like things have to be calm. My air has to be super low because I love it cold. And then I go under like 2 fur blankets. Like literally, I feel like I'm cocooned, right? And one of them is a weighted blanket. And it does. It is scientifically designed to make you feel safer and like almost like a hug, right? So whatever is that comfort to you. Also, as we wrap up this episode, Britt and I wanted to just share a couple of affirmations that you can just hold on to, that you can sort of just hit the mark here of where you are in minutes for this episode and say, okay, I'm going to go back to this and just listen to these. And I'm going to speak these over myself as I'm trying to fall asleep tonight. So we're just going to go through those with you really quick. First one is, I am safe right now. My body is allowed to rest. It's okay that I'm having a hard time resting. This is normal, considering everything that I'm going through right now. And it is not always going to be like this. I can help my body right now until this passes. God, give me peace, even when the world feels so chaotic. And last, I release today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And that's something you said earlier, Brittany. Like, we don't have to carry all of the things that aren't ours. And if, you're similar to Britt and I, and you sort of have that type A, I'm going to get it done mentality, and we tend to take on the things of the world and the things of the people around us, we don't have to continue to do that to ourselves. There's a lot of memes of put that down. Just put it down.
Yeah. There's such beauty in those. And y'all, I mean, this is a full preaching to the choir right now because I'm in it. Like, I am in it tonight. My brain is already like, what are we going to do? You know? And so when I say this, you know, like this comes from a place of like, me too. Because if sleep doesn't come right away, don't panic. Like, your body hasn't forgotten. Because I promise, with grace, with patience, and with the right supports, rest is going to come again. It's coming back.
So, tribe, if you're listening to us and it happens to be at night right now, maybe you're dealing with just some sleeplessness, right? Maybe you're in a season of insomnia. Just know that we've been there. We've made it through. We've been there multiple times, right? Multiple seasons in our lives, Britt.
Yeah.
We hope that some of these techniques and ideas that we shared give you encouragement, actually maybe give you the courage to try something new. Ask for help. Sometimes you do have to ask your doctor, like, hey, I do need something else. These things aren't working.
Yeah.
We hope the next time you press play, maybe you're listening on your way to dreamland, maybe you're driving in your car, maybe you're just coming out of a season of insomnia, whatever it is, but we do hope that things in this episode help you. We love you, tribe.
Love you, tribe. See you next time.